And welcome back to The Walking Dead Maniacs. I am your host, Kevin. Joining me as always is Felix.
What's up?
And Gina.
Hey, y'all.
Today we are going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 12, The Lucky Ones.
Okay, I'm just throwing this here off the top. I forgot about a couple things when we were doing the review, so I'm just going to throw little things in as we go.
And it starts out with a cold open. We see a montage of how Stephanie got her radio to see how she crosses paths with Eugene. This time, we see it from her point of view.
What I liked that what they did here, they reshot all the scenes from before, but from her perspective. Like when they went to the Commonwealth, and she, first of all, I knew it was her all along. For some reason, I knew it was her. But when she walked by and Eugene's like, "Is that Rocky Road?" and she knows that was Stephanie's favorite, Stephanie's, and then I also liked when they're having the same conversation they had 2 seasons ago, but again, we see it from her perspective. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That was really cool. I knew it when I heard her voice when Yumiko went into Pamela Milton's office to talk to her. And Max said, are you with that new group that just came in? I knew it was her from the voice. And then when I went back and watched it again and I saw her getting the ice cream, looking at Eugene, I was like, yeah, that's definitely her. Just because of the way they lingered the camera on her for just a second.
Do you think Lance or Pamela is going to find out it was her, and if anything's going to happen?
I don't know. I think if they find out, it's going to fall back onto Mercer more than Max.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because
too.
Mercer told her, this is going to be bad for both
for
of
us.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the circumstances of them being there are, but I have a feeling that she is there because of him. And if he gets kicked out or for, something happens, I think it's going to affect her too. And I think he's there because she's safe there, is the feeling that I'm getting.
I see that too.
Well, Pamela is skeptical of Alexandria, Oceanside, and Hilltop upon arriving. As Aaron is nervously giving Pamela a tour, Daryl and Mercer have a very telling conversation. After seeing a photo of Deanna and Reggie, Daryl and Pamela also have a telling conversation before they're interrupted by a breach.
Yeah, on this one, when Daryl and Mercer were talking, you could tell how over here they're free, and
Right.
at Commonwealth they're not, because he tells Daryl, like, who's in charge here, and he's like, well, we all are.
Right. Well,
And
what
then-
did you do before?
And he asks them, what did you do before the world fall? And he's like,
He said, doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter, because in Commonwealth, they put you in the same position. So if you were not doing the best when the world fell, then they're going to treat you like crap at Commonwealth. And I think that's why we're not there yet. That's the reason why Maggie's like, no, because Maggie's literally is out there in the wild, just killing walkers. She's all dirty. She's all in
Right.
it. And she's the leader of Hilltop, but the leader of the Commonwealth, has a red carpet and all these people protecting her and such.
Going back though, I did like it when Max was asking Pamela, is there anything I can do for you? And Pamela says, make my son not be an asshole for one day. So
Yeah.
even she is aware of how awful Sebastian is. But I mean, he's her child, so we all know how that goes. Your
Yeah,
children
we
are
do.
your.
Well, at the hospitals, Ezekiel is shocked and awed with his surgery announcement.
And Jerry was tickled pink, and I felt sorry for that other lady sitting beside them getting the blood work, because I have a feeling she's on the waiting list and I've been there. So I know what it's like, and Jerry's like just super excited, and I felt kind of bad for her.
Actually, yeah, later on, again, we're jumping ahead, but when he's having the conversation with Carol, I could see where he's coming from, because
I
it's
can
like,
too.
there's all these sick people, what makes me, more important. But we'll get there right now. Jumping back a little bit to Daryl's and Pamela's conversation. Okay, I like the fact when Pamela and Daryl were talking, and she's like, it fell more than once. And Daryl was like, yeah. the way she looked, she knew that they're capable of handling themselves.
She asked Daryl, "Did you respect her?" And Daryl said, "Yeah, she brought us in. That was something that nobody had ever done for us before." And that kind of gives you an idea of how much Daryl has come from the time that they made it to Alexandria up until today, looking back and reflecting, that really was the first time somebody had taken them in just the way that they were. Okay. And I thought that was important that Pamela knows that because Pamela said Deanna was more of a leader than she ever was, and by far more into politics than she was. So she'd always looked up to her. And I think she was impressed that Daryl had looked up to her just the same.
As she did, yeah.
All right, well, at Oceanside, Rachel tells Pamela and Lance that they'll only join the Commonwealth if Hilltop does. While on their way to the Hilltop, they come across Maggie and company taking down a small horde of walkers. Pamela suggests that they go hunting, where she and Maggie discuss an arrangement.
And like I was saying earlier, I liked how when they come upon Maggie and the Hilltop crew, they're all out there, just killing walkers. And when they all come up, they're all full of walker guts and they're all dirty, and you can tell they've been fighting them all. And again, Pamela's protected. She's in the car with all the troopers around her and such. You could just tell that Maggie and company, they want things to be better than it was before the world fell.
Yes.
I like how Pamela and Maggie have that mutual respect for each other. And this is the only reason why I think Pamela may eventually help Alexandria and Hilltop. And Lance is one. I keep going back and forth on Lance, if he's a good guy or bad guy.
Ezekiel is visibly upset that he's going for surgery soon. As Carol pays him a visit, he realizes Carol pulled some strings.
Well, and she basically tells him, "Look, there are people in front of you in line that aren't going to do anything good with the rest of their life, but you have a lot to give. You need to be alive so you can do the things that you need to do," is what she told him. And
that's exactly what I was trying to get to.
And I think that came down to not just the wine, but the fact that Lance is seeing Carol, and he sees Carol can get things done. But not only does she get things done, people confide in Carol, because when they went to that place where Motto was, Carol's the one that found out, he was robbing from them and he had beat somebody, and that's why they were on strike. So he's recognized that Carol is somebody that he needs in his side for whatever his end game is. And when they were traveling there, he was telling her, there's the mercenaries, the ones with money that are already on the top, and then there's the patriots that are just trying to do good. And whether they're doing good or not is yet to be seen.
Well, Eugene and Rosita have a heart-to-heart about the past, present, and future.
I like the way they put how when they first met, Eugene basically lied to her and Abraham that he knew the cure. And now Stephanie, Max now lied about who she was and all that. And I like the way that kind of came full circle for him, which makes me think when things come full circle for someone, it's not always good, especially when they get in a relationship, which it looks like him and Max are going to go, pick up on that relationship that him and Stephanie were on.
I didn't like in that conversation when he said, "Who would have thought you would be a cop?" And she said, "Yeah, and I'm a damn good one too." And then I was thinking about the things that you said, and I thought, "Oh, shit, I don't like her anyways."
I think it's gonna go that route. But if she kills Daryl, then, because as we were talking in prep, we were talking about I'm thinking Daryl's gonna take Rick's death, and I'll go into depth on that in another video. But I was thinking that. But if she does it instead of Sebastian, that'll be something there. You're gonna really hate her.
Yeah, and I hope that doesn't come to play, because I've come to enjoy Rosita's character. So
I'm
I
going to
hope
be
that
honest. She was
doesn't come
never
into play.
really a favorite until she got with the baby's father, Sadiq.
Sadiq.
Sadiq, yeah. That's when I started liking her a little bit. She was
Yeah.
like a real person before. She was like a character. She was
Right.
playing a character. Rosita knows that the Commonwealth is safe for her and for Coco. It's just the only reason why she's doing it. Same with Daryl. The only reason why he's like forming in the line at the end of the episode is he knows it's safe for RJ and Judith. But she did say one thing about missing being home and having the freedom just to walk outside the walls, which is going to be one of the big Civil War focal points, I believe.
All right, well, the hunters regroup at Hillside, where Daryl and Lydia conversate, then Daryl and Mercer do as well. Lance leaves some supplies for the hilltop, then meets up with Maggie on the hilltop step.
On here, do you think Lydia is going to leave as well?
That's what I was about to ask you. It sounds like it because she said what? So you just get to walk away, or have you ever just thought of walking away? And
Just leaving.
Daryl said, "Why? Is that what you're thinking about doing?" And I think that Lydia's gonna go her own way too.
Yeah, something's going to happen with her. Well, it was just announced right before recording that Maggie and Negan are going to have their own spin-off show. And you know, Lydia is pretty tight with Negan. She's the only one that was kind of like Negan, was an outcast and got, came into the group. Maybe she might end up going with them because that little conversation was just telling. It was like a throwaway conversation, but it happened for a reason. And then when Daryl talks to Mercer and he's like, they're always watching, that you have to play your part. Yeah, and when Daryl and Mercer were talking about Hershel, I thought it was really a big coincidence that the episode where Daryl's like, Hershel's a different kind of kid, kind of basically like Judith, a badass, that he grew up out in the apocalypse. The way Maggie feels about Hilltop, I don't think she would just bounce to New York just for the heck of it. So I think Hershel's going to be involved some way. Well, he basically said, "Go ahead."
He told the troops, to get in format or in line, and Daryl didn't do it. And then he says, they're always watching you. The fact that Daryl didn't fall into formation when the others did made Mercer look bad. I think so. He was telling Daryl, when I say fall into formation, you have to do that, whether you're with your people or our people.
And then when Maggie saw that, I think, and again, we're jumping to the end of the episode here. I think she was going to accept their offer up until she saw that they have Daryl like lining up information like he's just a regular trooper when he was, he was getting out of line. He was out there killing people without being told to. Because earlier on, when they had, also I've been wanting to bring up, all those troopers shot at the walkers. How did they not shoot our people? Crew?
Yeah. That's what I was wondering when that happened, because Mercer hollers fire and they shoot all the walkers, but nobody in the group gets shot. Now, how do you do that?
I don't know if they were trying to show that they're good shots. They're not like the stormtroopers from Star Wars.
But even at that, I mean, a bullet can go straight through and hit somebody on the other side, just like it did when what's his face shot the deer and it went through and hit Carl.
Yeah. Otis.
Yeah. So I mean, how did they not shoot one of our people?
That tripped me out, but
movie magic.
Movie magic.
Also liking the way how Maggie sees through Lance's BS, and she tells him several times, "You haven't answered me. What do you get out of it?" And then again, curious that they announced the spinoff after Lance talks about the going up the coast, getting on a boat and taking your son somewhere or doing something with your son. So again, it might involve her son is why they run up there.
After witnessing the social stratification with the Commonwealth's troopers and their superiors, Maggie declines the Commonwealth's offer.
Yeah, because when Diane comes up to her and tells her, we need this. And she's like, I know we need this. And I think she was going to do it up until Mercer yells for formation and tells Daryl to get in line. And she literally sees Daryl. That was actually hard for me to see too, knowing the kind of person Daryl is. But he's doing it for RJ and Judith.
The one thing that I want to say though that really upset me about Maggie in this episode, and Maggie is not my favorite. She hasn't been my favorite since, well, pretty much since Glenn died. I think she's just gone a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But I didn't like. Did you catch where she was talking about she learned how to be a leader from Diane and from Georgie, and she not one time mentioned Rick.
Rick. I got that.
He was supposed to be the one that she, looked up to up until the whole Negan situation.
He's the one that was
pretty crappy.
He's the one that put her in that position too.
Yes. As
enforcer, he made her step up and talk to Deanna when they first arrived at Alexandria.
Yes.
And then when they went to Hilltop, he made her go talk to, what was his name again? The dude she hung, Gregory. And she's the one that stepped up and did that because Rick, helped her get to there.
And she never mentioned him as helping her be the leader. That really bothered me.
That actually came across my head too. It didn't bother me as much as it did with you, but I was like, what about Rick?
Yeah. Rick's the main character and he's the one that has led you this whole time. But there were a couple of things that it also bothered me when they went to Oceanside and Rachel was talking to Pamela and she's like, well, we made a pact with Hillside and we're going to honor it because Maggie has never left us. Excuse me?
Maggie she just got back.
She just got back. She has not been there at all.
Well, at this point, Eugene goes and visits Max.
On this one, again, we kind of jumped on it in the beginning, but I like the way how things were a little awkward. And then they started talking and they're like, oh, this feels like it used to, they're just kidding around with each other.
The thing that struck me the most is when she actually let him into her apartment, she had the homemade light bulb lit up and her apartment was not tidy and had wires and loose things and just
I noticed
bits and pieces of things everywhere. And I thought, that's Eugene's comfort zone right there, bits and pieces of things to build here and there and everywhere.
Well, I didn't think that. I thought, God, look at Mercer. I blamed Mercer for it because I figured they lived together.
Oh no, I thought it was all Max. And probably I thought that just showed more in common with her and Eugene because of the way her apartment was set up.
I didn't catch that at all, but yeah, that's a good one.
Well, it's probably because I'm a slob and so.
Well, as the Commonwealth heads back home, Diane and a few Hilltoppers decide to leave the Hilltop for the Commonwealth, with a warning from Maggie telling them to be careful who they trust.
I really don't like that they did that with Diane.
I don't either. She's been my favorite forever. I remember the first time I saw her, and then when they were meeting the drop for the Saviors, and she said, my sister had a dress like that. I thought, oh, man, I like her.
I think it's season 6 when she came on, no?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there?
Season 7. It was after Negan killed Abraham and Glenn.
Yeah, that's right. But she was always there in the background, kind of like Scott is.
Yeah.
Just like, that one character. And she's been through so much. They fought, Negan and the Saviors. They fought the Whisperers. Everything they've been through. And then she's going to, I see why she wants to go to the Commonwealth. It's like society is right now. Like it didn't skip a beat. But to leave Maggie...
She's always been the step-up character. She was there when the kingdom needed her. But then when the kingdom was kind of doing better, she stepped up to help Maggie and to be there for the Hilltop when the Hilltop needed her. And then when the kingdom needed her again, she was back at the kingdom.
It felt out of character.
It did.
That she left.
It did.
Well, the episode ends with Lance killing walkers at Hilltop.
What did you get from that? Is
I
he
thought he was
nuts or
throwing a
not?
fit. I thought he was throwing a fit. He was mad because Pamela's onto him. Pamela knows that he doesn't want to bring these three communities in for the Commonwealth. He wants to bring these three communities in. He's hoping to establish these communities as his so
That's what
that
I'm
he can
thinking
fight
too.
the Commonwealth. And I think she's onto that because that's basically what she told him.
You know what? Yeah, I you tied that one up right there with a bow. I'm not going to say nothing.
All
Well,
right.
I mean, he was throwing a fit. That's all it boiled down to.
To me, I just thought he was going nuts, and then he gives like that smile, and I hope Aaron kills him.
I do too. That oily, creepy smile that he gets, like
Yeah.
when he was on the stairs with Eugene. Okay, go ahead, Eugene. What are you going to do about it? And I'm like, ooh.
I'm starting to see your definition of him, the whole oily. I'm starting to see that. I kind of thought he was going to be good at the end, but I'm kind of seeing that this episode.
All right. It's time for ratings. Ladies first, Gina, 1 out of 10. How would you rate this episode?
Not very high. Maybe right in the middle. Maybe I just can't go any higher than that. I thought it was a
So good 5, 5.5.
I was thinking,
yeah, like a 5, just because I don't like the way Daryl is falling in line.
Gotcha.
I'm with Gina, 5.5.
5.5.
And why though? Why do you give it that low of a rating?
Because it was, to me, 5.5. I mean, it's still good. It's above average, but it did progress a little bit. To me, even though it was a filler, it did progress a little bit. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. There's some episodes, Clear, Four Walls and a Roof, The Day Will Come Where You Will Be. I can't think of it, but Rick's last episode, I watch those to this day still.
I just watch it all. I start on season 1, episode 1, and watch it all the way through. But I will tell you, there has been some filler episodes that I have hated that are now some of my favorite episodes, and Clear was one of them.
That was a great episode.
So, Glenn was under a dumpster and we didn't know it. And I was like, why are you putting this in? I don't care about Morgan's journey.
All right. So this is a 5.5 average rating. Not bad, not bad. Not good, not good. So as we come to a close, make sure you do all the YouTuber things. Hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. So for Gina and Felix, I am Kevin saying, try to stay alive, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.